Hey guys, hope you and the families are doing well. We currently know that Trump's tariffs are crashing global stock markets. That includes the US stock market as well, which is flushing really hard, beginning to capitulate potentially. So for the US, I think this is going to resolve itself in one of two main ways. Now, the first way is the US goes into recession and thus we'll see a bear market unfold in the US major indexes. The second way is we see a capitulation V-shaped bottom in the US indexes. Now, for that to happen, I think there needs to be a changing of market sentiment around the tariffs. So that could be Trump lessening the tariffs or pausing the tariffs, which could create a relief rally for the indexes that would then take the form of a V. So you want to be aware ahead of time how to trade these V-shaped capitulation bottoms. Now, the last time that we saw that was August 2024. There were some really good trading opportunities in NVIDIA, Palantir as well, so ticker PLTR for that one. So what this video is going to do is teach you how to trade those capitulation bottoms, those V-shaped market rallies that we see quite commonly. Now, to do that, I'm going to show you one of my live coaching sessions that reviewed some of the best trading opportunities from August 2024. It goes through NVIDIA, it goes through PLTR, and it's what I do with my members twice a week. So I really hope you're going to enjoy this video. You're going to learn about how to trade the opening range breakout, how to look for intraday relative strength on the daily chart, and be aware of the characteristics that you tend to see around these V-shaped market bottoms. So I really hope you get a lot out of it. You learn a lot from this video as well. Market Surge are today's video sponsor. They are my go-to resource for analyzing company fundamentals. If you're interested in a discounted trial, you'll find a link to that in the description and the comment section below. Hey guys, hope you and the families are doing well. Today's date is March 4th, 2025. So this is going to be a swing trading bar by bar deliberate practice session. I've got a couple of interesting ones lined up. I thought what we'd do is go back to the prior time where we saw a capitulation flush in the major indexes and many leading stocks. In particular, we're going to focus on August 5th, as I kind of feel like that time may be soon approaching with the current action of the market. So thinking about short-term oversold nature of the indexes, moving average breadth readings going into oversold territory, and how to trade a capitulation flush, because oftentimes it can result in a V shape. I can't raise my right hand up, but you'd have one side of the V and then the other side of the V. So very quickly down and then a kind of snapback rally back up. So just focusing on how to kind of trade that specific market environment. So we're going to be looking at NVIDIA. We're going to be looking at PLTR. So we're going to bring in a little bit of intraday stuff in terms of just identifying and getting in the trade, but then we're also going to focus on it from a trade management standpoint, from a swing trading perspective. So looking longer term swing trading perspective, and then looking to manage the position. So hopefully it will be interesting, hopefully be a little bit different as well, and it may be quite timely in, who knows, a couple of sessions next week. We shall find out. So I see that Thomas raised his Zoom hand, so I will bring in Thomas first, and I see that Darren and Juan are happy to join in as well. Hey Thomas, you okay?
Yeah, I
How are you?
have to change something here. Now it should work normally. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you absolutely fine, Thomas. Absolutely. Can you see the screen and everything like that? All working?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Okay, great. So what I'd like to do, Thomas, is slightly different. The last time we saw a real kind of capitulation bottom in the market for me was August of last year. So I'd just like to kind of, because it may be quite timely with this current market, who knows, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks from now, maybe never, we will see. But just thinking about what a capitulation kind of bottom and flush often looks like in the major indexes, thinking about how to, one, trade it from an identification standpoint, but then two, manage positions as well from a swing trading perspective. So this won't make much sense right now, because what I've done is stopped it on the 2nd of August 2024. And there's going to be some pretty big gap downs for one, NVIDIA, and then two, the triple Qs. And we'll kind of line those times up. We can see the weakness coming through in the pre-market, and NVIDIA is actually gapping down here to its 200-day SMA, where it's currently trading around at the time of filming this video. So I'm just going to play this forward 5 minutes, Thomas, like this. So now we can see what the daily candlestick looks like for the triple Qs. Appreciate it's a little bit difficult, and also for NVIDIA as well. As you look at the daily chart, I appreciate both are in proverbial free fall, but what would you say is stronger, NVIDIA or the triple Qs?
Well, definitely the stock, NVIDIA. Yeah.
Yeah. Why
Because
do you
much
think
higher above the red line, is probably 100 or so, or 200. Yeah.
200? Yeah. Yeah, this green limey line coming through here is going to be the 100. But yeah, Nvidia is holding way above not way above, but significantly above the 200-day versus the triple Qs, which actually just gapped down below it and has now created this huge gap here on the daily chart. So, as you look in the first 5 minutes, Thomas, are you seeing visual signs in both Nvidia and also the triple Qs? What do you think the larger operators in the market are up to in the first 5 minutes of the session?
No, they're definitely buying. Yeah. I wouldn't read too much into it, but it's definitely green on the. Yeah.
For me, as I look, just focusing on the triple Qs, for me at this time, I'm thinking this could be a gap down reversal underneath the 200-day and then push back up. What I haven't currently got loaded up is, because I'll kind of give the game away a bit, is the breadth readings. So 20-day moving average breadth readings for the NASDAQ 100 and 50-day moving average breadth readings for the NASDAQ 100. 50 days really, really close. 20-day here on the gap down goes into oversold territory. So the way I'd look at it is that kind of proverbial market type is flowing out. And I would expect gap down reversal, at least try and kind of go fill this gap, snap back into the 10-day at a minimum here. In terms of
That's one thing I want to mention, because the ADR of NVIDIA is 5%, and it's already did that in the first 5 minutes, right? The range is already flushed down and came up one ADR. So it's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So this here on the kind of capitulation, I think we will kind of get standard deviations of 20-day ADR percentages. It'll really kind of skew out this way, just because the volatility is going to be pretty big here. So in terms of Nvidia, Thomas, the MACD's gone positive. This one here, just to get us into the trade, I would target a 5-minute ORB and go, this should be the low. This should kind of be the low here for the Qs. Gap down reversal, want to see it turn around and go quickly. Want to see it with Nvidia here as well. So if we were then going to...
Yeah, I totally agree. And I just want to mention, because what I like about that setup is it already flushed around the pre-market low, and then came back. It flushed it, and the stops there already taken out. It's always a good thing to go for.
Yeah. So people trying to buy it, nice spot. People trying to buy it in the pre-market, in here, as they start to see it rallying in the pre-market, who are buying it might just place their stop loss just there, and then the old oopsie daisy, they get shaken out and then reverses. So the play here on kind of these capitulation lows, because it's kind of, we don't see this too often when this really kind of happens and get these really big flushes. The market may be setting up for it in the next couple of weeks, but we'll see. The play really is spotting the strength very quickly in, whether it be Nvidia was a pretty key stock here, the Nvidias of the world, seeing in the Q, seeing in the SPYs, the buy orders just flooding the market, and the index is going, really there should be no real hesitation here. Should be pretty strong. So this is one that I bought on this 5-minute ORB. So let's bet forward a little bit, Thomas. So where would you then be? Let's just see if we get filled on the next spot. Okay, now you're 10 minutes into the session. What does it now look the large operators are doing? Are they kind of buying this gap down, or are they still selling? What do you think?
No, there's a lot of buying coming in. Yeah, it looks like an ease of movement, relatively low volume, but really good price movement. Yeah.
Yeah, nice action. Given the strength, so we've now got the triple Qs kind of gap down. If I zoom into the daily chart, we've got this gap down underneath the 200-day starting to reverse. That's the red line that we then see on this 5-minute chart here. So now reclaiming it in a pretty strong way. Do you want to try and sell half of Nvidia at one time, or do you want to try and wait for a little bit longer? Just see how far this intraday rally may go. We just take it bar by bar. What would you like to do?
Because the gap down is so big, I want to give it more opportunity to go, and I like 100, maybe liquidate it into the round
nice
number there. Yeah, re-roll it there and that.
So I'll play it forward a few bars. Continues to push. So now we're at approaching 100, correlating quite closely with what the Qs do. Qs inside bar, shake out off the 5-minute 6 EMA. Nvidia same, pushing through. Play it forward maybe one more bar. Okay, we're kind of around 100. Still waiting for this 100, Thomas? Keep going one bar at a time?
Yeah. So I would do my mental stop at break even, but otherwise I would let it go. Yeah.
So you're basically saying, let me just watch it, and if it turns around back down to my break even price, I'm out. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, just that Thomas has been trading a long time, but just for people who are maybe a bit newer and haven't seen these capitulation style flushes, they don't happen every day of the week, maybe once a year or so, if that. Okay, we're starting to push up here, Thomas. So you're now approaching, there would be, it's not on this chart, so I don't have that many moving averages on it, but this green line is going to be the 100-day SMA. You're through 100. NVIDIA didn't really stop at 100, that we thought, okay, could be kind of a resistance point. You're approaching the pre-market highs, kind of this level here, approaching your 1/3 at 2 times initial risk. Triple Qs through the pre-market highs. For the gap fill for the triple Qs, we're not going to be there yet, still a little way away from that. Any reason to exit any yet?
No. I just want to mention that the prior day low is also coming there. So it's like there's a
good spot
confluence there. So exactly. And I want to re-roll it into that, I would say. So like it's so many moving averages there. So let's go with 2R. Yeah.
Okay, that's actually, nice spot. So you've got, what Thomas has done there, which is a really good spot, is there are multiple reasons for why NVIDIA may stall at this specific level. One, we have pre-market highs. Two, we have prior sessions low of day that we're now running into. Short term looks a little bit extended as well, approaching the 100-day SMA. Yeah. So take off a third there, Thomas. Then just
yes,
we could have effectively taken off a third there as well. And then let's just put our entry in here. And then in a minute, once we're happy with free rolling, I will fast forward it and we'll go onto the daily chart. And then we're taking off a third basically here. I would probably, Thomas, still keep my stop loss on the low of the day rather than try and push it up a little bit, because I would go, I've effectively free rolled it. And actually, if NVIDIA starts coming tumbling all the way back down here, I'm probably going to exit before my stop gets hit anyway, because then something would look quite wrong. So if I just play this forward a little bit, and we can then just see how the session develops. Bit of a consolidation. I don't want to go too far forward. A bit more. Okay, there we go. So what I'm now going to do, Thomas, is your entry was at 94.61 and your stop was at 90.68. So what I'm now going to do is one I made earlier, is we'll go to here. So your entry was, I think we said 94.61. And then your stop effectively there like that. So now what we've done is we put your entry price in, your stop, and we know that you took a third off up here. So what we can then do is we can just write on here, entry plus 1/3 to free roll. So now what I'm interested, Thomas, is the context here is a little bit different, because we've had NVIDIA was showing strength on the daily chart, as we discussed. Triple Q's gap down reverse bar to the 200, NVIDIA holds above it, so showing relative strength within that regard. But now it's a case of, now you're below some of the moving averages. So we want to think about potentially the management here. So this is how it closed, day one. What are you thinking could unfold in the next couple of sessions?
At least a 50% retracement of that last flush, from 120 to 90. Also 50% retracement is not, probably a bit lower there, probably around the 10 there. Yeah.
Okay. So you're kind of thinking counter trend bounce into these overhead moving averages.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you take from the high 2 days ago and the low of the last day, exactly that, and then 50% of that, that's a kind of a typical number of institutions that the 150, half of that.
Yeah. So that would be 110 down to 90. So it's going to be around the kind of 105. This kind of, let me look this a little bit. Something in here, maybe what we're thinking. This kind of red zone here, and then top end of that would be into these moving averages. Okay, let's play this forward now. Hopefully, all will work swimmingly. So far, so good. So the context here as well, which I can probably go and load it up afterwards, Thomas. You may be able to remember it as well, is what we've got now is the 20-day and 50-day moving average breadth readings are in oversold territory. So I'll tell you what I may be able to do. Bear with me just a second. May make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, bear with me a second. What I'm doing is just on a separate screen at the minute, loading up the breadth readings, because that may influence your decision. Okay, let me pull this across. This, let's give this a whirl, see if this works. So what we said is you had your entry, here, stop loss, lower day by cent, 94.61, I think we said. Your entry there. Okay, so we got 20-day moving average breadth readings in oversold territory, and we got 50-day moving average breadth readings towards oversold territory. So we're probably expecting that kind of proverbial tide to flow back in. So on this daily candlestick here, Thomas, is it giving you any cause for concern yet? And maybe I can pull these down a little bit.
No, on the candle, it's indecision. It's kind of a non-day. But what's bullish is the breadth, the 20-day, the average breadth. Yeah.
Yep.
It's bullish. It wants to come back.
Yeah. But we'll probably want to keep an eye on these kind of overhead moving averages to see if this works. Okay. Yeah. Gap fade into the 10-day.
Yeah, but it's to be expected. Yeah.
Tricky bar, because it gaps. So early on in the session, you'd be thinking, yeah, this is looking good. It's going to push. And then it rolls, closes weak. Hold your position.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely. Yes.
Okay.
It's a bit of change of character, but now it's to the downside. Now it's this next bar is ideal. It's to the upside now. Change of character again.
Yeah. High low. Shake out demand tail. Tight bar under the 10.
10 is still resistance. Yeah.
And it's the context of also wanting to see this.
Yeah.
Breadth readings come flowing back in here. Starts reclaiming the 10. But we're still bumping into these overhead moving averages. We've got the 65-day, the 21-day. Generally, certainly over the last 3 days, since 5 days of being in the position, or 6 days, other than this one bearish bar on August 7th, what are you making of the other 4 or 5 candlesticks?
No, that's good. It's a flush out. It's now building a higher low. So I like it.
Nice. Okay.
Looks good. As the moving average is to be short-term resistance. It's definitely to be expected. Yeah.
Starting to get through them now.
Yeah.
At the close of this bar, where do you place your stop on the position?
Stop. I would stagger it, and one is the low of the higher low 4 days ago.
Okay.
There, exactly 1/3, and the other third maybe below the 10-day. There, somewhere.
Something like this?
Yes. Okay.
So we've got to stop at probably to kind of 3 cents below, just for completeness. Get the right one, like 97, 47, something like that, just away from the round number. Okay. Play it forward. So we're now approaching the 50. Through the 50. Big improvement in breadth readings on that day from a 20-day basis. What do you do with your position now? How are you expecting this kind of chart to unfold?
I would actually expect a retracement now again, as I like the last 10 days, and then 50% of that, like a Fibonacci retracement there. So about 110 or something. Yeah.
You then have a confluence of a lot of clustering of key daily moving averages, 10-day, 21-day, 65-day. So what you're thinking is kind of a pullback into the here.
Yeah.
Maybe reasonable. And then what we could have is kind of a cup with a low handle develop, something like that. Okay. Yeah. Where would you have your stops now?
I would leave it at like the stops there. Yeah.
Okay. Just play it forward a couple of bars. Okay.
As a short-term breadth, yeah, exactly. That's now a bit high there. It's above 80.
Yep.
I actually would sell now 1/3 there and wait for the retracement and rebuy.
Okay.
We can do a low of the day. Maybe let's go a low of the day of that bar.
That would have been because the reason I wanted to do NVIDIA, and we'll do PLTR in the session as well, is it's oftentimes when you get these kind of capitulation lows, the other side will be pretty steep, kind of like we can see the V. I know you like Lance as well, and you can see left side of the V, right side of the V, right? You can see, and this is what will tend to happen, real kind of snapback rally. So the reason I would suggest go low of the day, because it just takes the emotional angst out of a lot of things, and you'll be better with your emotions than many of us, Thomas. But a lot of people here, as it's kind of running into the 21 day and the 65 day, may go short term extended, or here go it's short. Whereas if you just go low of the day, low of the day, low of the day, low of the day, you're still in the position. For me, my kind of brain is wired, looks better for me. So let's go low of the day there. What about this lower one that's currently at 97.47?
Yeah, normally I would do it a little bit below the 21, but I would say about the 65 there, the gray moving average. So somewhere there, maybe a bit higher, or above 110 or something. Yeah.
So something like this in here. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those stop losses. Go forward a bar. Okay, so bar. We now got 20-day moving average breadth readings, as you said, into oversold territory. We're about 81% there. 50-day, a little bit of running room. NVIDIA here looks pretty short-term extended. So what do you do with this top stop loss at 123?
I'll push it up, still low of the day. Yeah.
Okay. Just going to kind of point like this. So we're kind of deliberately trying to get ourselves stopped out of this position here, because we think that's probably going to be a pullback hump. We can then always add on the pullback. Lower type bar. Keep going lower today.
Yeah. No, yeah, it doesn't matter. Keep the same. Yeah.
Change character.
Yeah.
So short term change character. So we're kind of happy with really how we managed the position so far. So NVIDIA is now probably going to pull back. 20-day moving average breadth. Here's then one of the difficulties of trading during this times, and yeah, I think we may shortly see this kind of unfold with this kind of capitulation, snapback rally. Maybe it'll be the start of something more meaningful. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Time will tell. But what you can then have is moving average breadth readings quickly go, certainly the 20-day, from oversold to overbought. So that proverbial market tide now is probably going to flow out. So what are we thinking with NVIDIA here, Thomas? How does this chart unfold?
Yeah, so definitely probably coming as the breadth reading coming back to the 50% line at least.
Okay.
Yeah, at least there, and which corresponds with the moving averages. Maybe the 21 will be the moving average to. I would say that's the healthy uptrend, right? It still can change to the downside again, but yeah, somewhere there.
Okay. Probably a surprising bar. We were probably expecting
stronger than expected. Very good. Yeah.
Happy with that 110 stop?
Yeah, I like it. So maybe it's higher than below the 65 there. Okay. Otherwise, yes. Yeah.
What chart pattern are you starting to see form now, Thomas?
It looks like a handle there. Yeah.
Cup and handle?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the concerns here would be the context of this.
Yeah.
Overbought breadth readings. So I would not be surprised to see shakeout in the handle. And what's fast approaching, Thomas, is I'm playing one more day. You've got earnings coming up. Okay. Yeah. Day before earnings. What are you thinking here?
I think it was very early in the earnings, also 24, right? Very 2-3 earning surprises, and the statistics says they're 7 to 8 on average. So I would be bullish on that earnings. Yeah.
Okay. Hold into it.
And so now it's kind of a Davis box there. Yeah.
It's probably going to resolve itself one way or the other.
Yeah.
In this tight little Davis box. Break to the downside.
Okay, it's good for this spring. Yeah.
Keep holding.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Happy with the stop at about 112.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Bedroom.
There.
Exit. That's okay.
Stop there. I would have done what you did there, Thomas. Held into the earnings, and then just play this forward a little bit more, just so we can see how it kind of develops, maybe just to there or something like that. But this is one where the reason I wanted to do kind of NVIDIA and set up as we set it up there is I don't think we're too far away from potentially seeing this scenario where we have 20-day in particular moving average breadth readings going into oversold territory. Certainly if there's maybe another couple of week closes in the market, and then seeing kind of snapback rallies like this, but then you have overbought 20-day moving average breadth readings, and then it transitions down, NVIDIA then bottoms, you get 20-day moving average breadth readings going into oversold territory, and then so the cycle repeats. I just think it's a really, really useful overlay, seasonality, moving average breadth readings, context of leading stocks. But well managed, Thomas. That was tricky, especially early on in the trade, because the context is really different. Usually we're buying stocks kind of over here when they're pulling in at above moving averages, but such situations where you get the capitulation style flushes and then the overhead. Quite a good tactic, certainly when it starts popping up, is low the day, and just see if that strength can continue. Yeah, nice, Thomas. I got Darren and Juan wanting to join in, so I'll try and give everyone about 20 minutes or so. Any questions on that, Thomas? What we ran through that?
No, thank you.
That's all right. Thank you very much for joining in. I appreciate that. Let me bring in Darren as he asks in the chat next, and then we'll bring in Juan to finish. So let's bring Darren in. Okay. Yeah, Darren, you okay?
Yeah, very well.
I'm very well, thank you. You're a little bit quiet, Darren. The mic.
Let's just try that one. How's that?
Yeah, there we go. I hear you much better now. Any questions on NVIDIA trade that we just ran through, Brian? Darren?
No, I do recall last year it was quite brutal. I couldn't get to my computer in the end of July, and I saw all this happening. And yeah, it was pretty brutal. So it's good to see it power out from there. And yeah, but as you say, that was Thomas managed that nicely, didn't he?
Yeah, it's the context is very, very different with these kind of waterfall capitulation style flushes where stocks then below moving averages, because we're so used to kind of buying it here or buying it here and then trying to use the 10, trying to use the 21 to kind of help guide decisions. So it's a little bit different. But if we go for let's go for PLTR in a similar vein. So it'll be on the same day. Let me just play it forward one bar. Hopefully it'll work. There we go. Okay, one bar. Okay, so PLTR is also an interesting one because they're going to report earnings after today's close, Monday the 5th of August. So you'll have that to contend with as well. As you look at it from a technical perspective, you got the triple Qs, which gap down, as we just had with NVIDIA. You got PLTR gapping down as well. Which one currently is stronger if you look at it relative to moving averages?
PLTR.
PLTR slightly above the 200-day, triple Qs slightly below the 200. In the first 5 minutes of the session, are you seeing visual evidence in both PLTR and kind of know with triple Qs as well? But visual evidence, the bigger boys and girls are buying in there. They're stepping up.
Yeah, we've got a hammer doji on there, so it's looking like there's a lot of energy for an upward movement.
Nice. So if we were to set it there and there, and then the initial stop loss ran about 4%. The ADR at the time is 4.79%, so it's kind of in chat. And this is, I do think there's quite a high probability we may see a similar session in coming weeks, and this is kind of what I'd expect to see. Big kind of gap down, potentially there's a big news headline that comes out. Maybe you'd be thinking this looks like bad news, but the market then suddenly goes, okay, it's gapping down, could really, really ugly, bad session for the market, and then suddenly this happens. I would not be surprised to see that market do that, given its kind of whipsaw tendency. So if we were going to target it, let's say it would be kind of like, it'd be a combination of setups. So it would be a 200-day SMA in Morello, because we've got the 200-day running right through that. It would also be a 5-minute ORB. As you look at PLTR, the 100 is up here, which could be the first stumbling block. What do you think is then the next stumbling block, kind of where the resistance could be for PLTR? Appreciate it's a little bit hard to say on the day.
Yeah, so the 50 or the 65 would be next, I would imagine. There's still plenty of headroom there.
Yeah, or potentially this lower day.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, I can see that. Okay.
Lower day, but that there would be a bit of a confluence with the 100-day SMA price level as well. So that could be our first kind of checkpoint to go. May struggle that PLTR, but let's play this forward. So second 5-minute bar of the session. We know what it was like for the Qs, reclaims to 200. Are you seeing visual evidence that there's a lot of buying here for PLTR on this gap down?
Yeah, for sure. Lots of volume and then still onwards, upwards.
Yeah. Something to then watch for is what you tend to see in weak market environments is the indexes and stocks will open strong. So they'll try and push to new session highs, and then they'll just get sold into basically. So something to watch for, I think, in coming weeks is just a bit of a change of character from that. You don't see them kind of, okay, they open strong within the first 5 to 20 minutes, they try and make new session highs, and then they just get sold into. You see supply shoots, you see bearish reversal candlesticks, and lower they go basically. So something to watch for here is just continued strength. So we've got our entry, PLTR on this bar here through the high, our stop loss on the low of the day. Let's just play it forward. Okay, inside bar like the Qs.
Yeah.
So we're going to start approaching your first free roll target.
Yeah.
So we're now at the first free roll target. So this is then where you have the decision to make. And again, these kind of market flushes and capitulations do not happen every single day of the week. Maybe they happen once a year, twice a year on average to this kind of extent. So it can be quite a good time in terms of getting big positions on at key daily moving averages like PLTR off the 200-day, for instance.
Yeah.
So then it's how quickly, when the trade starts to work in your favor, how much do you want to try and hold on to it? I.e., can you try and keep 2/3 of the position instead of half of the position or something like that, and just kind of watching this intraday trend and just seeing how it unfolds, not kind of really snatching at it. So I'd say here, is PLTR putting you under any pressure, or the index is putting you under any pressure?
At this moment, it's all looking positive. So I would hold this one and just see where we go with the next few candles.
Okay. Trying to watch that 5-minute 6 EMA.
Yeah.
As long as we're kind of trending above that and there's no real deterioration.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. So we're just starting to roll over here. Times that, that's 10:20. Okay. So
at the roll here, as it starts closing below the 5-minute 6 EMA, stronger or weaker intraday than the Qs?
Stronger.
Why do you think it's stronger? Out of interest.
The Qs have rolled over a bit harder than Palantir.
Yeah. Wider candlesticks, bit of a worse break in terms of looking at recent lows in here as well. If we were to use the low of, say, the 10 AM bar and just draw that across, we can see triple Qs below, whereas PLTR actually just holding above it.
Yeah.
Less of a break. So now you've got a decision to make. Do you try and take some off there? Do you wait, see if the trend will reverse? What do you do?
With such a capitulation flush on a very strong leading stock, I think I would try and let this run. And I wouldn't take off half, but I'd just keep on watching it. And if it came back to stop break even, then I'd manually close.
Okay. This happens quite frequently. You'll get a bearish looking bar intraday, and you'll go, oh, I want to exit, and then the next bar reverses. So it's now acting well. So okay, let's just play this forward a few. Let's see if it starts getting to kind of 23.75. Okay, starts to push a little bit. So we're still around that kind of one time. Okay, starts going a little bit. Okay, so we're now getting up into the point where we're at the prior session's low of day, at the 100-day SMA price level as well. It's not on the chart, but it'll be. It's not on the daily chart, but it'll be right there.
Yeah.
Take some off, hold. Is the stock showing intraday relative strength versus the Qs? What do you think?
Yeah, I would take a third off and then just move my stop loss up a bit as well.
Okay, so we're going to take a third off there. And then we're just going to push the stop loss up. So we basically ever so slightly move the stop up. And now we've got a stop still underneath the 200-day. But then what we've been able to do there is take 1/3 off.
Yeah.
And we obviously had our entry down here. So nice, we've still got 2/3 of the position, and potentially a lean stock. Let's just write entry there. Okay, nice. I'll just play forward the session. Continues to kind of push, little roll into the close. Okay. Oh, show you. Ignore that.
Okay.
Right, let me jump across the PLTR. 22.18 was your entry price. So we're here. Pretty close. Okay. So we're here. You had your entry, took a third off. We pushed the stop loss up ever so slightly. Let's imagine you hadn't seen what you just saw, which was kind of the first 5 minute reaction. Hold or don't hold. What's the chart telling you to do right now?
The chart is volume, the most volume that has been seen for, well, anything on that chart. We've just had earnings as well. So on that day, it's above the 200 as well now, so it's bounced off that. So all in all, I would say that's incredibly strong, and people knew what was going to happen with that stock before the earnings.
Okay, so your conclusion is hold into the earnings,
right?
Which the reaction is going to be on the next daily candlestick.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've got a decent kind of cushion as well down to your stop, about 10%, 2 times the 20-day ADR percentage. Again, with earnings as well, you can just sell your position in the post market. Like as long as your broker allows you to do that. Interactive brokers, not everyone does, but like interactive, like if you see a really negative reaction come out and it starts selling off hard, you can just exit your position in the post market.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
So it is it can be useful. Sometimes you can get really big kind of whips initially, but okay, let's play this forward a bar. Okay, that was the reaction then on the daily chart.
Yeah.
Good bar, bad bar. What do you think?
Very good bar. Where does it go from here, though? That's the question.
So now it's interesting from a management perspective.
Yeah.
Of you're now back above all key daily moving averages. Your current stop is down here at 21.46. Do you keep it down there? Do you move it up? If you do move it up, where do you move it up to? What do you think?
I would certainly move up the stop. Interestingly, probably on 50 or 65, around there. Give it some wiggle room.
Okay. These people that were buying up here,
yeah,
what are they going to start doing?
They're going to start selling, so I need to give it more room. Okay.
Well, do you? Because if you think about these people here, and PLTR is a bit of a retail favorite as well. So there's a lot of retail traders buying here because PLTR's earnings are coming up in a few weeks, and I have a feeling about it's going to be a blowout earnings report. I'm going to buy. All of my mates on Reddit are talking about it. All my mates on Twitter, yeah, I'm buying PLTR. And then you get this kind of capitulation flush. That's a big move down if you're buying up there. You've just ridden it down 20%.
Yeah.
As soon as you start getting back to break even, the emotions for those people are probably going to take over, and they're going to go, I'm back to break even. I'm nearly break even. I got a small profit. I'm out.
Yeah.
So if you were going to have trap buyers up here selling and institutions soaking up that supply, what would it look like on the chart?
Probably quite a lot of volume, but also we'd get a bit of a slide back on price.
Something like this, just kind of consolidating.
Yeah.
What chart pattern would you then see for?
Oh, cup and handle. Okay. Nice.
So you're trying to move like 10 bars ahead. You're trying to think, okay, 3 bars ahead, 5 bars ahead, 10 bars ahead. What could happen here? How could this play out? Okay, if these trap buyers start selling, but then institutions start soaking up that supply, what could it look like? Well, it could look like gap down reverse bars, could look like shakeout demand tails, could just look like a period of contraction, like a little Davis box.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to think, okay, well, where's the logical place for that? 50-day, 65-day EMA could act as a little bit of a guardrail.
Yeah.
If the institutions, so this is then where you can go a little step deeper and go into the psychology of it. So let's say these trap retail buyers up here are going, if PLTR goes up another 5%, I'm break even on the position. That's me, I'm going to sell. If institutions wanted to try and panic them out to go, it's not going to make your 5% and get you back to break even, I'm going to try and panic you out, what would they do?
They would bring the price down.
Now, would they bring it down nice and slowly for them?
No, quite vicious. It would be, it would shake people's psychology.
So I would be thinking here, kind of V-shaped into overhead resistance, bit of a retail favorite. I wouldn't be surprised to see a gap down reversal or two.
Sure. Yeah.
May play out, may not play out. If it does play out, then we could start thinking large operators are in there, up to their usual tricks. So thinking there could be a gap down reverse bar play out, your stop loss, if you think where would the lower the gap down reversal bar be, Darren, where would you think on this chart?
To be honest with you, that my stop loss is too high. When I said around there, I thought it was probably a little too high anyway. I was wondering whether to split it as well. And I did wonder whether the high of that candle, that would also make sense.
Yeah, I would go for the stagger option, if I can. Let me try. There we go. I'd go for the stagger option. Maybe underneath 24 with the upper bit.
Okay.
Maybe something like that. And you can react during the session as well. But I just want to give this a little bit of room here. Just to go, okay, let's just see. Who did what on that day? Where did price go to and who did what?
Price went higher and then lots of trap buyers sold.
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
Brought them up.
Makes sense to me. A lot of people selling in there. I don't think institutions were too keen up here necessarily. So yeah. Selling. But this bar here, given the weakness of the close, I'd be thinking next day, pull into the 50, 65. Looks pretty logical to me.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And it doesn't. Stronger or weaker than you expected?
Much stronger.
Mm-hmm. What do you notice about the RS line?
Oh, 52-week high. Interesting.
Yeah. PLTR saying I'm strong here.
Yeah, for sure.
Like this bar here, given the context, if we're in trap buyer land, the volume coming through, the 52-week high, now's the time we can start kind of pushing that stop loss up to maybe like up here where we were thinking, underneath the 50 and the 65. Probably just go and stop there. Okay, so let's then play this forward. So again, the context here is a little bit different, that you're trying to think, okay, trap buyers overhead, how may this kind of chart unfold, but still thinking institutions are there with me. So.
Okay.
Okay, what's happening up here? What does the stock try to do?
So there's still trap buyers there and they're selling, and the institutions are still soaking that up. So we'd probably, from there, we'll probably see just a little bit of a drift down or a pullback to the moving averages.
Okay. Who was trying to buy the base high breakout?
Oh, okay. Yep. Yep. Retails.
So if you see this bar in the context of a base high breakout, does that look like institutions are piling into the breakout?
No, it doesn't at all.
Probably the retail trade who went, right, I'm gonna set an alert right here, 29.80. Right there. I'm buying the base high breakout. I don't care that it's gone up in a straight line like this. I'm buying that.
Yeah.
Get sold into. So then what do you want to do from a management perspective? What are you expecting to happen in coming sessions?
From there, I would expect next 2 or 3 bars to be a bit of a pullback. And then from there, I would expect it to take off.
Okay. So then it's the question of, if you think it's short-term extended and there's going to be a pullback, do we keep the stop loss there? Do we maybe stagger it to the lower day like this to protect profits and then buy some on the pullback? Or do you go, no, PLTR is so strong, it's going to pull back and turn around and go? So I want to keep my whole position.
I would probably split, put the lower of the day, because it could just take off there, as in the 2 days prior. It could do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's play it forward. Keep going low of the day.
Yep.
Okay. Keep going low of the day.
Yep.
And then maybe just trail this one up behind the 50 and the 65 at the minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep going low of the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
low.
and again.
Okay. Just push this one up.
Yeah.
Okay. More 52-week highs. Stock's currently acting well. Keep going with low of the day.
Yeah, I think that one's going to get taken out shortly, but yes, let's keep with the low of the day.
There we go. So really good trade in there for that third.
Yeah.
Very efficient, actually. Up in a straight line, 43%. Not bad.
Very nice. Yeah.
Now we're probably expecting a pullback. So what daily moving average do we want to potentially look to use as a trailing stop?
For the remaining third,
Mm-hmm.
Let's try the 21. Just give it a little bit of space.
Okay, that's for that. Just let a few sessions play out. Okay, through the 10. Do we want to exit there or hold?
I'll hold that. It's looking strong. We've had 3 red candles coming back down, lower volume. So let's just see where we go from there. Maybe. Oh, okay. That's yeah.
Into the 21.
Yeah.
So now we're looking at this kind of red zone into potentially a blue zone.
Yeah.
Prior area of resistance to hold as support, confluence of the 21. Maybe we push our stop up a little bit. Yeah, a little bit of wiggle room. But we'll be watching it quite closely here.
Oh yeah.
Tries to go.
Yeah.
I should have given you the option. There's probably quite a good ad here.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Yeah, there's quite a good ad there. Free roll it into that. But it's quite a nice one. Volume dries up on the pullback. Let's keep playing it forward a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that's not looking particularly strong. It could a bit indeterminate from there. So we've had a shakeout, low volume. I will hold it from there. Let's see where we go. Oh, crikey. Okay, one more. Okay, let's keep going. One more. Wow, okay.
Good bar. This day here, I think, is news of the S&P 500 inclusion.
Oh, fantastic.
So well help. And then what chart pattern do you kind of see?
Yeah, long cap and handle.
Yeah, kind of cut with a bit of a kind of high handle forming here. But then this is something to look for, which PLTR did. It was a little bit testing, but certainly PLTR, which is kind of like a TML at the time, bit of a momentum leader as well, retail favorite. Does it get supported around its 21 day? That's going to be a pretty key moving averages. It does.
Yeah.
Shake out, couple of games going on there.
Yeah.
So then this one here, Darren, if I then play this forward, we can now probably push our stop loss up.
Yeah.
And then it would pretty much just be a case of ride the 21-day EMA. So I'll just play it forward till something kind of happens, but I think we kind of know what happens with PLTR here. But then just a really nice...
Wow. What a run.
Yeah. But this is what... Oh, there we go. That's kind of the break there. That's probably our exit.
Yeah.
Bit of a nasty break. But this is what can happen from these kind of capitulation market events, when it's kind of, as we saw with the triple Qs down to the to the 200-day, the SPYs around the 200-day, and NASDAQ comp around the 200-day, NVIDIA big kind of flush gap down reverse bar, PLTR as well. So that's something to look for, I think, in coming sessions, coming weeks. Kind of big gap down reverse bar, change characters, big shakeout to market like this, like visually seeing that. I don't think we've seen that yet, because then what tends to happen on the other side of that is the market goes on a pretty good run, because everything gets so oversold. Breadth readings go into oversold territory, things then rally back, moving average breadth readings go into overbought territory, and the cycle just repeats. Does it always repeat to kind of this capitulation extent? Nope. That's why I said it's a pretty rare time. But trying to dial in on the leaders in these moments in time, and then transition from being much more tactical and short term to then go, nope, I think I've just got a key leader right off its 200-day. I'm going to sit and try, as long as it's acting well, as long as the market's acting well, to try and ride that intermediate to longer term trend.
I'm actually quite pleased we've had this big pullback after such a period of turbulence, because it's shaken out a lot, and it should clearly have quite a big run going forward if everything goes to plan.
I think so. Just a second. We're not far away. If I go for the triple Qs, which is currently around its 100-day. Yeah, and starting to shake out. The thing right now is we still haven't seen a kind of capitulation low, nor have we seen it with moving average breadth readings. Yeah, going into oversold territory, but feels like we're getting there. Like this was just, you can now see, this was August 5th.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see the acceleration that tends to happen to the downside. Gap down here on the first day, that then left this doji, and then what happened here was a Monday, and the gap down happened on the Monday. And I've been speaking recently about the market's tendency for gap down reverse bars on Monday the 13th, Monday the 27th, Monday the 3rd, obviously Monday the 5th of August. I wouldn't be surprised to see if it happened on a Monday.